the San Francisco 49ers have placed a second-round tender on running back Jordan Mason, according to Adam Schefter of ESPN. Now, because they placed a second-round tender, Jordan Mason would be making $5.3 million roughly with the 49ers, but because he's a restricted free agent, another team out there could give him a longer and bigger contract, and San Francisco can match the deal. Now, if San Francisco does not end up matching the deal, that means that team would have to give up a second-round pick to the San Francisco 49ers. And, it's pretty unlikely. I feel like a team's going to really want to give up a second-round pick for Jordan Mason. This running back class is fairly deep. San Francisco, wants to make sure they have depth, right, with CMC coming off the butt, Achilles tendonitis. And in general, you just want to have depth. Mason has improved as a blocker, runner, and a pass catcher. Did really well when he became the starter after McCaffrey went down in 2024. He also dealt with some injuries, but for the most part, when he was on the field, Jordan Mason was phenomenal for San Francisco. Just the burst and physicality he runs with is just amazing. And so I think the Niners, it would not shock me if they do what they did with a guy like Jauan Jennings last year. If you remember, maybe you don't remember, it's all good, but the 49ers placed, I believe it was a second-round tender as well on Jauan Jennings, but then they came to an agreement on a 2-year deal. And so I could see San Francisco doing the same thing with a guy like Jordan Mason. He's still young. San Francisco 49ers, what did John Lynch say? They want to get younger. And I think Jordan Mason definitely fits that mold. So I would not be shocked if San Francisco, comes to an agreement on a multi-year deal with Jordan Mason, and Jordan Mason doesn't sign the tender. If we start hearing that, I'm not going to panic too much because, again, I think that just means that San Francisco and Mason could be in talks on trying to get a long deal done. But again, just great move by San Francisco. I know there had been some trade rumors out there. We'll see really I think that can still happen, but I hope San Francisco just brings him back, gives him a multi-year deal. I think that'd be phenomenal and make a lot of sense for San Francisco. In other news, the Minnesota Vikings are signing defensive tackle Jonathan Allen to a 3-year, $60 million deal. And the reason I'm talking about this is because the 49ers were linked to Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen's 32 years old. San Francisco's trying to get younger. I never saw the 49ers giving Jonathan Allen that crazy of a deal. I think 49ers were hoping that they could get him on a bargain. Now, Jonathan Allen, it was reported by Tom Pelissero that he was visiting with the Vikings. I thought, okay, that's fine. Maybe he'll then visit with the 49ers, but he ends up getting a contract with Minnesota. So now he is off the table for San Francisco. So definitely intriguing to see what they're doing at defensive tackle for the 49ers because they have gaping holes there. Malik Collins expected to be released or traded. Javon Hargrave expected to get released and actually also signed with the Minnesota Vikings. So Minnesota's adding to their defensive tackle position. But the San Francisco 49ers have made a free agent signing, and they are signing free agent safety of the Atlanta Falcons, Richie Grant, former second-round pick out of UCF. I remember actually being a huge fan of him, a guy I wanted San Francisco to draft. Ultimately, they didn't draft him, but a few years later, he's now with the 49ers. It's going to be a 1-year, $1.5 million deal, $200,000 guaranteed, according to Tom Pelissero. A guy that, to me, is going to be a special teams guy for the most part. He has some starting experience too. only started one game last year. I just think that, the Falcons had some other safeties, and so that's why he didn't really get too much playing time. But I think with San Francisco, they're going to stick with Malik Mustafa and Jair Brown. And again, I see this Richie Grant, signing as a depth piece, and then as well, a special teams guy for San Francisco. He played over 1,000 snaps on defense with the Falcons and over 150 snaps on special teams. I'm sure Brant Boyer had some say on this signing, and who the Niners should bring in. I thought they may bring in a guy like Ashtyn Davis from the New York Jets because he's familiar, with Ashtyn Davis. I'm not too sure if San Francisco would still do that. Yes, I still think they need to add another safety. Maybe they do that in the draft. Maybe they still add, a guy like Ashtyn Davis because it's a pretty cheap and short-term deal with a guy like Richie Grant. So, and San Francisco still could add, I guess, Ashtyn Davis here. So we'll see if that ends up happening. Another guy that they may bring in or could bring in is like a guy like Brandon Echols, the cornerback who played also for the New York Jets. Can be your end of the cornerback depth and as well as special teams. 49ers do need to add at the cornerback position right now. It's really Diamondor, Renardo Green, and Darrell Luter Jr. after that. Holes, guys that are free agents. And Charvarius Ward signed with the Colts. Never thought, unfortunately, he would be coming back. Just with the whole trauma that he fortunately dealt with his daughter. So, wishing him the best, though. And all these other, free agents the 49ers have lost. Also wishing them the very best. Glad that they at least got, the bag. Obviously, it sucks, to lose some of them, especially Dre Greenlaw, but it is what it is. But yeah, that is going to do it, guys, for your news. Also, by the way, I will be live here in a bit for day 2 of the NFL tampering period, and then tomorrow as well, which that's going to be a little bit of a later stream, but we will be live for. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Peace.